Jeff, always good to spend some time together talking about leadership and selling and career. And topic that's I think pretty timely for both of us is how we've enhanced our personal or social or selling brand. I know that you just announced recently that you've got an upcoming podcast. We've obviously done a lot of these types of conversations. We've both written books, and while I don't know that either one of us has sold enough copies yet to light the world on fire, it's really beget some phenomenal conversations and career trajectories. So, would love to get your thoughts on how have you enhanced your brand, and what advice would you give to other sellers and leaders out there?
Yeah, it's a great question, and you're one of the leaders in this space, so I'm really looking forward to what you have to say. But as an up and comer, I've been thinking a lot about this, and I guess there's a few things I would say. So first and foremost, I would go with that old Nike slogan, "Just do it." It's kind of like going to the gym. Half the battle is just showing up at the gym every day. Once you're there, you're going to work out, right? And so I think the same is true for brand building. You just need to be intentional about it. You need to make the decision that it's something that you care about. And for me, that happened probably like 2.5 years ago. I made a very conscious decision that I care about this and I'm going to do what I can to share my ideas and I think pay it forward in terms of my experience. And I've done that through mentorship, but also through mentorship, I've learned what's valuable to other people because I'm literally giving feedback to people and hearing what's resonating with them. And then I know what kind of would resonate with a broader audience. I think another thing too is authenticity. I mean, I talked a little bit about this in my book. It's all about authentic selling. And I even kind of make fun of certain people on LinkedIn and other networks who are very clearly trying to be very dramatic all the time and try to position themselves as thought leaders. Like I kind of just say what I want to say. I don't. I try not to make it contrived. And if there's something that's top of mind for me or something that's relevant for people, I try to just go share it. And I think people can tell when you're being yourself. And I think it makes it resonate a lot more strongly when you're not like trying too hard. For these like these conversations you and I have, we don't plan much. You and I get on, we're like, hey, what do we want to talk about today? And then we just do it. I'm wearing a sweatshirt right now. I look disgusting, right? So I try not to put too much thought into all of this. And I think the last thing I would say is just around, I talked a little bit about this in our cold emailing thing that we did, but weirder than Waldo, you have to stick out. And this might be at odds with being authentic, but I actually think being authentic is being true to yourself. If that's a weird version of yourself, you and I have both written books. Not a lot of people choose to do that. I like writing. For me to go write a book isn't something I just did because I thought it would give me certain status or something. It's because I actually wanted to write the book. And, when you go out of your way to do things that are maybe uncharacteristic and it makes you stand out from the crowd, it definitely helps. For me personally, I recently left my last job and was interviewing for a bunch of new jobs. And certainly the fact that I had gone out of my way to not only have all these ideas about sales, but also to go ahead and put them together, I think was, like to think was impressive to potential employers and things like that. So a lot of times these things, if you just go out of your way to do, it doesn't have to be writing a book, but it can be a signal to people about, your knowledge and your dedication, that you're going out of your way to try to stand out from the crowd. So those are like 3 pieces of advice that I would give. How about yourself? You've written a lot of books. You've been doing the social selling for a long time. Would love to hear, what are you doing in this vein?
Yeah, no, that's fantastic, Jeff. And I loved what you shared around just do it and the execute element. I think we all have these things that we talk about doing. And for whatever reason, we tell ourselves, well, we got to, push that off because we got to prepare more. We got to do this and that. We got to have all our ducks in a row. And, frankly, just sometimes I just go out and try to execute. It may not be fully baked. It's kind of like you said. I love your comment about these conversations. I mean, we jump on and we just try to figure out what's top of mind. What can we talk about? Where can we add value? And that's what it's really all about. It's that authenticity. It's got to be a genuine effort to contribute and add value. it was years ago, and I was writing newsletters at a previous role at AT&T, and writing these newsletter columns around sales and leadership. And I just really had a passion for doing it. I enjoyed it wholeheartedly, and I knew that I wanted to write a book, but it was for the same reason that you highlighted. It was because I felt like that I had something to say, something that I could contribute to the selling game that has been so good to me, and so I did that. And through a lot of tenacity, I sent out 1,700 messages to agents and publishers, got the thing published, and subsequently have done a few more. But what's amazing about it is I found myself unexpectedly looking for work several years ago. And one of the things that made me stand out, in fact, the hiring manager told me that the reason that my resume stood out above others was because of that book. Perception is reality, and a lot of personal brand comes to perception. I had somebody tell me not too long ago, I was very flattered by it, that when they saw my LinkedIn profile, they were like, this guy, he's fake. It's too good to be true, some of these things on here. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm a small town kid from the Midwest United States. So sometimes I have to pinch myself that I get to have conversations like this, that I've gotten to meet some of the luminaries of sales, and that I've been recognized in Microsoft is the #1 social seller in the entire company. It's incredible to me. I was doing social selling back when it was kind of an anomaly, just because I believed in the process. It was very people-centric. It was really genuine attempts to create meaningful relationships. But people were at the heart of that. And it was, again, to your point, it was authentic. I just wanted to make a connection, see where I could bring resources to add value for them. And it worked, lo and behold. And, there's been a lot of times where I've been in roles in my career that, frankly, I probably have no business on paper being in those roles. I didn't have IT solution selling background. I didn't have industry specific background. But what I could do is leverage some of these resources to create relationships. And so there's been some serendipitous things that have happened in my career that have led me here. Like, for instance, my publisher told me years ago, open a Twitter account. Okay, this was 11 years ago. I opened a Twitter account. I knew nothing about Twitter. I started engaging people, just meaningfully, trying to start dialogue, following followers of people that I wanted to be like, somebody that I might want to emulate. And I had some great conversations. In fact, I was recently interviewed on a podcast from somebody that I met on Twitter. And over time, because of content and because of quality and quantity of messaging out there, I've got the third most followers in St. Louis, which is where I live. I'm never going to catch up to Nelly and Joyce Meyer, but that's okay. Like, it's beget some interesting conversations, and that's really what it's all about. We're in a relationships game. I don't care where you are in your career, if you're in sales, if you're in leadership, we're in a relationships game. And I've been pulled to every role that I've been in since that time when I landed that job because of my book, because of a relationship that I made. And then because of the brand that was established around some of the things with Twitter. There was a social engagement platform here at Microsoft. Because of my Twitter following, I was able to get a lot of engagement. So I became valuable in that regard because I was able to create and share content and get a lot of engagement. So I became known for that as well. So again, it goes back to the perception element. I'm just a guy who enjoys selling and enjoys working with customers, enjoys working with teams and partners. But the brand is there, that there's books and there's the social selling component. And it's all because I'm willing to talk to anybody, have any conversation that I think I can contribute to and learn from. Those are the key elements. You don't go into conversations that are one-sided. You go into every conversation looking to add value, but also ideally you'll receive learning and knowledge as a byproduct of that. And then the other element to that is that, you have to execute on it. You can't just speculate about what could it be like, what should it be like, because the proverbial bus or train is going to pass you by. Don't pass up an opportunity. If you've got something that you want to contribute, figure out a way to make that happen. I blog, I make videos from time to time, I write, I solicit for people that want to come on and just have a conversation. And those are the types of things that have enriched me beyond belief. And as a byproduct of that, I've been really fortunate to be known for certain things that have helped me in my career. I wouldn't be where I am today if all of those things hadn't transpired. But each one might just be a brick that you're putting into the foundation of something great. And so that's why take those opportunities, take those chances. I've made took some chances, made some risks in my career that didn't pay off, but some have. And definitely anything that you can do to stand out, be unique, further your brand, it's going to pay off.